the last few weeks in Math Methods 2, we have talked about percents and decimals, dividing fractions, and equivalent fractions. And today we kind of went over some geometry stuff. I'm just going to tell you a few things that I liked best from the past few weeks. The first one was comparing equivalent fractions, which we used the length model, and we called that the fringe. And we actually got to make this model so we could explore the different ways that we could compare fractions. And so, for example, if we were comparing like a half and 2/4, the students could visually see that they are the same size. So I'll just hold up that example. So this piece is a half, and they're labeled on the back too. So this is a half and this is 2/4. The students could see visually that these two take up the same amount of space. This model also works well with like measurements, like cooking measurements, like quarts and pints. Another activity that I liked was dividing by a fraction conceptually. First, you have your word problem, which is over here. Then you have the division problem right here. And in this part, you just have to estimate each piece, or maybe even one part of the division. In this example, we had 3 3/4 as our original, and we changed that to 4 because I know that 3/4 is close to 4. So we just changed that to 4. And then 3/8 we changed to a half because 3/8 is close to 4/8, and that would be a half. So then after you estimate that, you move on to an illustration. So then you draw the illustration, and you can either do like an area model or a set model or a length model, whichever makes the most sense to you in this problem. And then you move on to the abstract thinking. So you write down your original problem, then you find a common group name or a common denominator. Either one works. And then you change this mixed number into an improper fraction. So 3 6/8 would change to 30/8. So then we can just cancel out the denominator completely because they're the same, and then all we have to worry about is the numerator. So 30 divided by 3 equals 10. And you just want to make sure that your illustration and your abstract thinking match, and then you put that over here. And we talked about in class 2 that we wouldn't give students this whole paper at first. We would just give them maybe like the word problem and then the estimation part and maybe even the illustration part, but we wouldn't give them all of this to start out. That would just be too much. Thank you very much.